This is not a drill. This is not a drill. This is a drill. This is not a drill.
Hold it. Hello. Hey guys, this is Julian. Sorry for the delay today. I'm running into some technical issues on the back end of this stream, but we should be good to go now. It's great to see all of you guys. Welcome to the stream. If you're new here, these are my monthly patron Fix Your Project streams. As I mentioned on Patreon, we're going to be doing these on the second Saturday of every month now on a religious schedule. Before, I didn't really have a schedule for these, so it was kind of whenever I was free. So I'm kind of doing this to force myself onto like a more predictable schedule, I guess you can use that word, so that you guys know exactly when I'm streaming, and there's a little bit more of a discipline to this. So without any further ado, welcome to the stream, guys. It's good to see you, and let's get started here. We have a lot of projects today. I'm probably going to do the first 4 to 5 that were submitted. We had something like 10 submissions, and if I was to do all of them, we're going to be doing this for hours and hours. We'll probably cap this at like 2.5 at the most. So yeah, let's go ahead and get started. Start things off, I got to download these project files because I haven't yet. We'll do that right now. I'm going to go ahead and do that. I think that my screen is frozen here. Let me make sure that we're getting it correctly. It doesn't seem to be working. Yeah, just running into some issues today, guys. Sorry about that. How are you guys doing? Let me know if you submitted a project file. I'm looking forward to seeing it. Okay, display capture. Okay, there we go. Okay, just gotta fit it to the screen here. Sorry about that. Yeah. Okay, cool. We are now almost ready. Sorry about that. Yeah, there we go. Okay, without any further withholdings, let's go ahead and get this thing started. I'm gonna go ahead and download the first project of the day, which is Fresco Baldi. He is a longtime submission of the streams. We get one from him almost every single stream, so we can look forward to hearing his track. How are you guys doing in the chat? Get your drinks in. 909 hi-hat.wave. This is a 909 hat. First project is almost done. Let's go ahead and get this guy open. Hey Julian, all fine, works great. Awesome. Hey man, may I ask one question? So I started to use Ableton recently, and my question is that, for example, how can you get ideas to create a new sound? I mean, sounds and wavetable, etc. A lot of my sound design is really similar to one another. I think rather than looking for a new sound all the time, try to find sounds that you like and that you're inspired by. Because a lot of the times, your workflow in sound design is more important than trying to find something new. The workflow you come to expect in your music is how your music is going to sound to the outside listener. Yeah. So yeah, when I'm designing sounds, I always try to design sounds that are Julian Gray-esque rather than trying to create something new every time. I think it's more important to define your own sound and your own workflow and find things that you like rather than trying to be all original all the time. I think that's kind of a unnecessary strain on your workflow. Okay, we're getting this first one open. This is Fresco Baldi side by side. We're gonna just hop right into this. I don't want to take too much time. Before we do, though, I just want to let you know, if you're not a patron of the channel and you're interested in submitting to streams like this in the future, go over to patreon.com/JulianGray. Pledges over $10 will have access to these streams. You also get my discography download, and you get downloads of all of my live stream shows. So pretty good value, I think, for $10. You also get a Discord role in our Discord server and a variety of other things too. So go over and check it out. If you want to submit a project next time, make sure to do so. Okay, let's go ahead and check this out. Side by Side by Fresco Baldi. Let's go ahead and play it. He's always got this really cool, like, groove Got it. Here we go. Check, 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 check. Boom. Should be better now. Hopefully. Can always do this too. Let me know that that's a good balance for you. Okay, I think I get the gist of the song. It's really cool, like loungy synthwave feeling. If you've watched the previous streams, he's always submitting these really cool songs. Almost belong in like what is that indie game called with Miami? Hotline Miami kind of indie game. I just hear this in like a menu or something. It's really, really nice loungy music. Not to say it couldn't stand on its own anyway. I think it would be really good listening music. Okay, so there's a few things I think that could be adjusted, and the first is the mix down. I think there's some balancing issues here that I would personally make. Like the kick's a little bit quiet. I'm going to turn that up like to neutral, basically, because we were at -3 or what have you. I kind of like how lo-fi the drums are, but as a test, I just want to try, let's toss some EQ on here and try to sharpen up our snare a little bit. Make it a little bit more present in the foreground, and you do that by adding some high-end. See, that has a little bit more bite now. If we pull the EQ off, it almost feels a little muffled. Gives it that sharpness at the top. Let's try it with the hat as well. There's something to be said about that muffled feeling, though. It's very like synthwave, which I think is the vibe you're going for. So this might be, more of a genre-specific idea, but I think it could use a little bit more sharpness. Maybe some volume too. Still have a little bit more play on that channel before we get to neutral, so I'm going to give it a little bit more of a boost. I don't want to use it on the fader because I just have a pet peeve of pushing my fader over 0. But just to give it a little bit more channel gain, I'm going to put like maybe 3 decibels here. Maybe not 3, maybe like 1.5. See how the drums kind of sit on top of everything now? It feels a lot better, in my opinion. See what the chat says. Maybe on that bass sound, we can put a little bit of like distortion or something to sharpen it up a bit. I like how it sounds right now, but I think with a little bit of crunch, it would be really, really nice. I think it's this guy. Maybe not. Maybe this one with something else. Oh, it's this guy for sure. So it's triggering the Reese here. I'm going to go ahead and just apply some effects to this chain. I think that it'll do what we're trying to do. I'm going to grab a saturator just to give it some sharp like distortion. Don't want to push it too loud because I think it balances pretty well, but I just want to try a little bit of like, overdrive. Yeah, adds a little bit of like crunch and flavor that it needed. Sounds good to me. I'm thinking this will work too. This is kind of more of a stylistic approach than an actual like mix theory. This is probably a bad idea. if you're going strictly off of like conventional mixing, but a little bit of reverb on this guy might sound cool. Look with as much high end as possible, and maybe like dial it down to like 3 seconds or something so it's not overly long. What we can also do is we can create a second chain for this verb so we're not sending it to our sub. I don't think that this bass needs sub reverb. No bass ever does, so I'm going to group these. And what we'll do is we'll go to this chain selector here, and we're going to go ahead and duplicate it. So we'll call this guy dry, and we'll call this one reverb. Apologies for the sirens and stuff, guys. It's downtown LA. All right, and then what we're gonna do is we're going to, on the dry channel, I'm gonna roll off all the top end. I want this to be exclusively the sub, so I'm gonna make this maybe, let's try 80 hertz on the nose. And then we're gonna make the reverb do the opposite, so we're only going to reverberate above 80 hertz. 80 might actually be a little too low. Let's try 100, because 80 can get down into the sub bit. So we'll just try 100 here too. So then we have this crossover right here. We might get a little bump right here in our overall volume, but in general, I think this is going to achieve what we want. So with this multiple chain instrument rack here, or audio effect rack here, sorry, only the dry signal is getting through this chain, and only the high signal is, or I'm sorry, only the low signal is getting through this chain, and then only the high signal is getting through this one. So we end up with reverb only on the high end and a dry low end. Hope that makes sense. And this is what it sounds like. So that way we can keep our bottom kind of clear, but the top end gets that really cool reverberated effect. Try like 23%. I'm almost tempted to do this, a little bit of delay. Let's make it like a mid-low delay, like let's say like 600 hertz or something, and then like maybe 24%, 20%, and make it like a quarter note delay. Let's go to that high part. Maybe up to like 1K, maybe 2. I'm gonna give it a little boost at 1K maybe. Make it a little sharper. Yeah, it kind of adds to that ambient feeling. What do you guys think in the chat? We have to be mindful of our volume too, because we have 2 separate chains now. It's going to be slightly louder because you have a little bit of crossover here, and also just like 2 chains worth of sound coming through. So got to turn it down a little bit to compensate for that. And then I'm going to put a side chain on this because I don't believe there is one. If there is, it's in this frozen chain. I'm not going to unfreeze it right now. So yeah, go ahead and side chain this to our kick drum. We're going to make it basically infinite triggered, and then we'll set the ratio like 3.4 to 1. Maybe the attack really quick, and then the EQ, I just want to listen for the top end of the kick, just that little click. And then maybe we don't want to cut it so much, so I'm going to put it like maybe to like -10, and we'll make up the difference in volume on the trigger channel right here. So let's turn this up. Maybe like negative 15. Yeah, super cool. I'm loving how that Reese is sounding. Drums sound pretty good. I think in general the drums are a little quiet, so we don't have any more headroom. I'm just going to turn everything down a few decibels, and then we'll take the kick up like, back to neutral. So let's just take it down to like -3. We have a little bit more headroom to work with. And then I'm just going to make this to neutral. And then we'll do that for the percussion as well. Maybe turn that up to negative like 1.5 or something. Okay, so now the drums are definitely on top of everything else. We can turn up the pads and stuff a little bit more. I think we have a little bit more freedom there. They're a little quiet. Let's turn it up to like -10. Okay, it's a more subtle element. I'm going to keep that kind of quiet. And then for our vocals, I'm going to turn these way up because I think they need to come forward. Oh, that's the vocoder source. Okay, I'm gonna turn this guy up then. And this lead I can turn up a bit more too. Sorry for like redoing the entire balance of the song here, but I think it just needed some rebalancing, and now it's feeling really good. On the master, I think this needs a better limiter. We're really not even hitting the maximizer, so I'm just gonna crank this up here until we hit it. Make it a little bit slower so some of the transients come in stronger. But what we're really looking for is cutting of the transients, but not too much where you get audible distortion, because that's very distracting. And remember, if you're ever turning this up, do it in the pre-limiter fader. Don't do it on the outward fader, because that's just to your master, and that's dangerous. I notice you have a master automation here. You usually want to do this pre-limiter just so that you can, really have control of your volume before you hit the limiter. I would never advise automating the actual master fader, but for something like this, which is a fade out, it's probably fine. Maybe a little bit of reverb on the vocal could help. But other than that, man, this is sounding really good. I don't want to keep working on this forever, but I really, really love your stuff. I think it's some of my favorites on these submissions because they're so different compared to a lot of the stuff we get. I hit the tap tempo button. Maybe a little bit of high end on the vocal could help. Yeah. Cool balance. Let's go ahead and check out the chat here, what you guys are saying. Maybe I can just stick the chat to the left. Probably do that like so. Yeah, I really like this one. I'm gonna stick the chat to the left here so I can read what you're saying as I work. Just makes it easier. All right, really sounding good, man. Really love this one. Julian is forever boosting my low mids. Yeah, generally the low mids are like the most important part of your song because it's where all the emotion and the feeling is. And then on top of that, the high end, I guess literally on top of that, the high end is where the the crunch and the clarity is. Super cool. Correct all and save. And yeah, let's get on to the next one. So somebody asked in the chat how we submit to these things. Basically, we do a monthly stream. You have to submit ahead of each stream. It's just because we have too many submissions if you don't. As you can see, we already have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I can't count. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 today. And I don't know if we'll even get to all these. Second one is not accessible. They didn't give us a link correctly. Third one is, though. I'll just make this one yellow. If Alejandro Nahul is in the chat, or Axel Page, just grant me access to the download, and then we'll work on that. But yeah, you have to submit before these streams, because if I took streams in, I work on these for like 20 minutes each, and it would be like endless stream if I did that. So I always try to work on the first like 4 to 5 of these, and if you're not in like the first like hour or 2 of submission, likely you'll have to wait till the next one. They're at a first come first serve basis, just because the streams will go on forever if I don't. And you can submit to these via the posts on Patreon. Yeah. So if you're interested in that, go and check out patreon.com/JulianGray. Okay, we have one called Elden Corners, Dark Corners. Let's go ahead and check this out. This is Mark Eldon. He's always in the chat. He's in Australia right now. I think he's asleep probably, or in bed. And we're just going to work on his song. He writes some really, really cool stuff, like old school trance, kind of chicane-esque stuff. Really, really dig it. Great job, Fresco Baldi. That was an awesome tune. We're opening the project. How are you guys doing? You guys been working on music? Hope so. It's keeping us all sane during this quarantine. All right, this is Dark Corners by Eldon. Let's go ahead and give it a play. I already love it. The DX7 bells are so sick. I can't express to you how much I hate Isotope Updater. I own the plugins, man. Stop opening the window every time I launch it. Anything Isotope. Notice we're sitting at -5 here. I'm just going to turn it up a bit. That's why we're at -5. Before we carry on, I'm going to move the limiter to the end of the chain. That's just good practice. Put this at 0. Definitely some rebalancing to be done here, but really, really great melodic writing. Shout out to a great guy, Julian Gray. Shout out to you, Carlos. Yeah, I'm getting the gist already. I think it's really, really cool. It's like got the synthwave 80s vibe. Let me just listen to this breakdown really quick. I'm sure Juno will be around. Okay, I think I get the gist of this guy. It's giving me kind of like Eric Prydz vibes in the way it grooves. There's some interesting stuff that I think could be a little bit stronger. This second verse kind of feels out of place. The drop feels nice. But this feels like almost a bit unnecessary, like it doesn't really add to the song at all. Maybe if we just pull out the bass right here. Maybe it's not the bass, but the plucks. This guy. Alright, and I think we can lose the snare for the first half of this. I think we just need like a moment of no drums here. And if we do keep the drums, I think it's kind of awkward to remove the kick and just kind of go into a slightly different version of the drop. I want to make this verse very different from the drop. I think this is the first time we hear the stabbed lead. Okay, I'm going to turn this up because I think this is just a little quiet. So I want to make this element here like a big moment, rather than just, you know, dragging on. I want this to be like a big part. Let's see if we can find that saw wave thing. Is the stream quality bad, guys? I don't want it to like look awful. We're sending at around about 2,000 kilobit per second, which is about 2 meg. Unfortunately, my internet caps out now at like 5 megs. So like if I push my stream, I guess bitrate, I start to run into like dropout. I can try this really quick, but I may or may not like start to lag. We'll see. So is this... Where's that really strong loud one of this? Is it this one? This one here. All right, so this guy I think is too boosted in the mids. I'm just gonna give it a high boost here instead. And this cut here is kind of strange. I don't ever want to not have my top end for my like big drop synth. So I want to make sure this is all the way up. Also, I don't know about the vinyl distortion on here. Okay, let's remove that. We're already sounding better. I don't know that this is doing anything, really. Because we're not actually sweeping it. But what it's actually doing is trimming here at like 20K. You can see it in the waveform right there. If I disable this, you can see it. So we're just kind of taking away clarity for the sake of no real benefit. So I'm just going to pull this out. I don't think the resonant modulation was doing much anyway. And then for my serum, I want to lose some of like the phasing effect because I think it's a little bit overbearing. So I'm going to turn hyper and dimension down. Maybe I can like look on my thing to see if the stream quality is a problem here. But as you can see, guys, I'm trying to send 2,500 kilobits per second, which is like 2.5 meg, which should be adequate enough for a 1080p stream at 30 FPS. But like my internet here was just not taking it, so you'll have to get better internet or something. But I've looked into it here and it's really not available. By flickering, I'm not sure what you mean. Let me check and see the stream. Maybe we can work out what's actually going on here. Yeah, unfortunately, guys, I have new internet in this new apartment, and the ISPs here are like very limited. Yeah, let's see. It doesn't look too bad. Is 1080p like? Let's see. Recommend that 4,500. Oh yeah, that's pretty rough. Well, it might actually. This might actually just be because of the the place I'm looking at it. But let's try it on the actual stream page. Oh yeah, it's pretty bad. I think it's just my bandwidth, guys. I can try boosting up my bit rate, but I don't know that it's really going to help much. Let's try 3,000. See if that does it. All right, cool. See if that helps. I don't know if it will. Again, it's an internet thing. It's not really my computer. There's nothing I can do about it. But yeah, back to what we were doing here. As long as the sound is getting through, I think that's the main thing. I'll try to work on this problem for next month, but yeah. Okay, so this guy, I think it really just needs to be a little bit sharper. It doesn't have like a kick to it. Transient shaper is interesting because it is making the transient sharper, but I don't know that it's really helping out the sound overall. Should be fine though. Okay, the OTT on here is definitely helping. I'm okay with that. I think it sounds all right, especially if we add in that bass. Because we go from this. So what I'm envisioning here is we lose this, and then we just go for a bass that matches this. So we take this and maybe like duplicate it down and add an octave of it below. Okay, I think it's the A that's the core note of that. Mega trance. That's not the wrong. Definitely the D there to wrap it back around. Maybe the E. Oh, it'd be really cool if we just kept this going. I think the D again. Okay, and then on the sound itself, I'm just gonna lose some of this processing. I don't think it needs this like mega trance processing on the bass. Let's lose the filter too and the compressor. Actually, the compressor's not too bad as long as we like kind of reduce the top. Yeah. Doesn't need this either, really. And then let's go ahead and pull these waves down a bit. There's a little bit too much distortion. It's like overbearing for this. I'm thinking maybe we can try an octave down from here too, but that would be more of like a sub, I think. That's super cool. F, somebody said in the chat. Oh, not F sharp. Oh yeah, F is perfect. Then, yeah, that's super cool. F's in the chat. Okay, so we have that now, and I want to match that with a sub. So like, if we were to take an additional MIDI track here, and for this guy, I actually want it to be legato. Let's get rid of everything except for the first note, and then we'll hit legato, and then let's drop it an octave here. and then we'll try this guy with just a saw wave at like some super low frequency like this, or a filter of super low frequency. And drop this one an octave too, and let's do like basically like a makeshift re-space like that. So that way when it comes in, it has this big feeling. So for this, okay, maybe we can lose the chord for that first part, maybe. I need something in there. Maybe keep the filter like lower here instead, like this. That change right there is bothering me. That snare's like far too quiet. Like 10 decibels too quiet or something. Yeah. So I don't know if this would be too like Dance Dance Revolution, but I was thinking we can try this. It's like mega trance hardstyle vibes from like 2000. Let's like lose the filter on this too for this part. So these big blasting kicks. We can match this with the snare too. I think that would be cool. Like so. Hopefully the stream quality is a little bit better, guys. Sorry about that. I'm gonna try to work on that for next time. Yeah, still too quiet. Turn it up. Actually, this is the wrong snare. I was supposed to do it on this one. There you go. Yeah. This one's mega loud compared to the other. Alright, let's lose this for this one, and then we go dot 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 dot. And make like a little ramp too, maybe like this. Nice. This is like ridiculous. Alright, this part's still too quiet. I think it might be just lacking some high end, so like... Let's try it up an octave there, yeah. There's that one weird chordal change in there that bothers me. Let's make these like purple or something. Yeah. I think these chords are just like really centered or something. Something's going on here. Well, that helps. Now that I've removed that high pass, maybe we can add some more detune. Yeah. Oh, maybe we can, okay. Let's flip these around so we end up with like the smaller one at the first, and then we bring in the octave right there. Yeah, and like Tidris said in the chat, the voicing of the chords is a little bit open. Like if we added some additional voices in there. Maybe like F at the bottom to match the F in the other. Wraps around nicely now. I don't want to go higher on this one though, because I think it would detract from the other one. Let's just do this and then copy the highs again. Let's just do this. whatever. I think that's cool. I don't want to linger on this project for too long because we already worked on it like a half hour, but really cool one. I'm thinking that sounds really awesome. We'll play through to that part really quick. But I think that the main thing is to make that breakdown feel like really strong. Will really help the song out. Jeremy, you have the same problem. Send me access. That would be so cool to like bring in the high end on these chords here, just like. Really not too much high end to it. Oh, maybe it's this guy. Yeah. Imagine if all projects were locked. Yeah. Then we just work on Julian Gray music. All right. That one's sounding awesome. Great job, Mark, as usual. Really cool. I hope I didn't like gamify it too much. It sounds like a little bit Dance Dance Revolution-y now, but I think it's really epic and cool. Keep working on it. All right, we got Vestia and Tidris. Both of them are Gradient alumni, which is awesome. Both incredibly talented artists. This is what I'm really looking forward to because they're both like insane. Tidris in the chat. Say hi, Tidris. And Jeremy Cecil, send me that access, and then I'll get the next one open for you. Cool, guys. And if you're new to the stream and you've never seen one of these before, we do these monthly on the second Saturday of every month. They are patron live streams, so if you want to submit a project, go over to patreon.com/JulianGray. My tier 2 patrons get access to these streams to submit, that is. Everyone can watch. And that is $10 a month for access to these streams, Discord roles, the Discord Accelerator group chat, my entire discography that's not on record labels, and downloads for a lot of other cool stuff too, like project files and stuff like this. So yeah, so if you're interested in that, go check it out on Patreon. And yeah, okay. Cool. This one is Vestia and Tidris, Booted 11. Interesting title, guys. I don't know about that one. All right, let's go ahead and listen to this. Prepare to be amazed because they're both great. I'll try to give in any insight that I have, but generally they're pretty on top of things. Here we go. Insane. Yeah, it's crazy. $150. Nice CPU. I hear that Vestia lead in there with like the orchestration of Tidris. So sick. Little thing right there. That's so good, man. You guys gotta send this to like Ophelia or something. It's probably like the right home for it musically. Hit a few notes. I think the build-ups and the breakdowns are all really nice. The intro sounds great. The outro sounds great. I think the drop might be a little top heavy. Like this feels a lot more full in the bottom than this. Even though I know that the bass is in there, I feel like the top is kind of distracting from it. So maybe turn up the bass and the drop a little bit. I'm actually curious to see what this looks like on like an analyzer, because it feels very high. I can detect some of the low end in there, but there's not like a ton of like. Yeah, so even on your you're like what's supposed to be like a Reese. If you look on the analyzer, see how like your fundamentals down here, which are like your bass sounds, these should be comparably loud to these guys, which are like your high frequencies. Your loudest frequency in your what's supposed to be like a sub bass Reese kind of thing is the C3, which is 260 hertz. So you don't have that like super Reese low end as your main element to your super Reese low end sound. So what I would do is just take your like an EQ or something and try to counteract that curve. So if we look here, you have a lot of like crunch here in like 250. You have a lot of volume here. Try to make these lower fundamentals louder so that they match this. Let me look at how it looks on a span, because span is a little bit more telling. Span is also free. You can download this if you want it. So like this is like your main low end minus your sub, which is, I'm assuming, much lower. Let me listen to this too, because by the mix I can kind of tell that that's like 50 hertz or something, really low. Yeah. So most of your sub is down here like 50 hertz, and you're lacking this like 50 to 100, maybe 50 to like 150. Because if you look at this guy, which is like supposed to be that, see how like your fundamentals down here between 50 and 150 are not there. Just try to counteract that with a EQ. I think you really could just by doing this. Find like 150. Just boost it by a few decibels. We're trying to make up that difference. You can see it visually in the analyzer here. This is like probably, I'd say like 10 decibels quieter than this guy. So just try to boost it up like that. I don't know if this is the ideal method. You might want to just try to split the main high end sound and the low end sound and try to boost it that way. But you really are lacking in this lower mid. So and you just you can see that in the analyzer. So I would try to address that. See how like when I remove the EQ, it's very noticeable that it's lacking that lower mid fundamental volume, because you have the fundamental frequencies here, they're just not loud. And when I give it a boost in the EQ, it really fills out that bottom end, and you can visually see it in span. This is much more comparable to a flat line than this. Yeah, so yeah, and I have a feeling if we just play this now, it'll sound much more full. And then let's go ahead and copy spectrum here too, so we can like one-to-one look at it pre and post EQ and see if we flatten it out a bit. Yeah. See how that discrepancy there compared to that? So just anyone in chat, kind of be mindful of this. Like, even if you have a note that's playing, like for example, these notes are very low. They're here down at like whatever note this is. I'm not going to unfreeze it. They're playing in the right octave, but you have so many harmonic like overtone information in this sound that it's taking the low end that the fundamental is playing at and it's masking it. So you want to make sure that you always have this balance between like your frequencies and basses, especially, so that your low end is never overshadowed by the crunch of the high end of the bass. This is like a very crude method of doing it too. I would try to do this like in your sound design itself, or at least use like a better EQ for this. But we can try it like that too. Like I don't know if you have. Let's try Ozone 8 equalizer. I'm assuming you have that. Yeah, this should. Yeah, I'm gonna remove this, and this is a little bit more sharp. It gives you a little bit more control than the EQ in live. Where's my Q? I don't know how. Yeah, there we go. Unfortunately, that's as sharp as it gets here too. But we want to boost like 150 and below so that we can balance out that cut, as you saw. Yeah, unfortunately, I don't really use the third-party EQs as much, but you get what I'm saying, and you can probably do it yourself. Maybe we can try this. Yeah, something like that. I generally try to avoid EQs like this, but in a circumstance like this, it's very clear. All right, I'm gonna save this. I don't think there's too much else I had to mention for this guy. Maybe one other thing is your gain automation. I noticed you do that for the first drop, but you don't do it for the second drop. And I think that when you do this, don't ramp up to the curve like this. Just make it all at once. So pull this to the line. That you have a very, very stark contrast, big drop volume adjustment. Yeah, and let's do that here too. Not 7, but like 3. And then what could be helpful here too is if we look at the entire master and span. I know I'm kind of dragging on this one too, but if we look at the whole master on span, you can see we're still kind of lacking at 50 to 100 hertz. You have your nice sub at the bottom. It's kind of the Flux Pavilion syndrome. His stuff is very like, it's got a ton of high end and a ton of sub, but it doesn't have a lot of mids. So just try to flatten out this curve so that you have, you know, an equal amount of low end as you do high end in your final master. I think that will help a lot. But other than that, man, it sounds great as usual. We can try this really quick. This is ridiculous, but like around 100, 150, like that. Like that is clearly not the right way to do it, but you can hear that it already sounds better. Just try to do that in your own way. All right, I'm gonna save this one, collect all and save it, and yeah, it'll be good to go. Jeremy says, I sent you the new link on Discord. I think if you just grant access, I should just be able to download it. If you did that, rather. Here we go. Yeah, there we go. We just got another submission right now. I don't think that I'm gonna take any more of these, but maybe if we get to it. Oops. Yeah, let me just download this really quick. Next time, try to zip your folder. Oops. Next time, try to zip the folder before you send it so that it doesn't have to zip on Google Drive. This can take some time. All right, next up we have James Sully. This one should download really quick too. Yeah, no worries. Bam. Super cool tune. Love that. This is Reflections, and then we're zipping the Jeremy Cecil track. We're gonna do that one next. Okay. Make sure that we remove the old ones so that we can go ahead and flatten everything that's new, like that. Okay, Reflections. Not flattened, but zip. All right, opening it up. I hope that the stream's going well for you guys. If you learned something, let me know. It always helps me to know what you guys want to learn when making new videos. So I've kind of been on a burnout of tutorials lately, just because it's you know, I feel as though a lot of the stuff I would cover has already been covered on YouTube, or I've covered them in the past. So I like doing these sort of things where I can really focus group what needs to be said and what needs to be taught, rather than try to guess. All right, what do you guys think of me taking clips of these live streams and making videos out of them? Just would like your thoughts on that, and if you'd be cool with that, because I think a lot of the times in these sessions we have like these really cool ideas that I express that I don't really think deserve their whole, you know, production video, but like it could be really cool as like a stream clip. I don't know. Let me know what you think. All right, this is Reflections by, what was his name? James Sully. Yeah. Let's hear it. James is in the chat. Hello, dude. All right, let's listen to this guy. I love the percussion already. Cool rhythm. I'm gonna turn up your limiting a little bit. I'm gonna crank this like we were doing in the other track. We just want to kind of, you know, tease that limiter threshold, so we're cutting, but we're not cutting too much to where it's distorting. Super cool. That ARP is so nice. I love the stereo image too on the ARP. It's great. I'm assuming this is the lead you're referring to. You said something went wrong with the freeze. Maybe if I didn't freeze it. I don't have diffuse, but other than that. BOC one is the weird one. Oh, interesting. Okay, I mean, as it stands, I mean, I think I can work around that lead anyway. I think the mix on this one sounds so good already. It's like perfectly spaced. I think your kick may be a little bit too quiet. We take it up a few decibels here, but other than that, man, like, this sounds awesome. Some of the main things that I would adjust are sound design related. I don't know if that's because the freeze didn't go right or whatever, but there's a few things like on the bass sound. I think this is a little bit too I don't want to say simple, but I don't want to say, because I really enjoy simple sound design, but something is not quite right with this. So we can probably make this a little bit cooler. I'm thinking, let's go in Serum here and see. Maybe if we make the filter a little bit softer and added like a little bit of envelope motion or something. I was thinking maybe a little bit of resonance too. Kind of similar to like what we did in the synthwave song at the beginning of the stream. I was also thinking we could try a fifth on this guy, but I don't know if it would be too much. That doesn't work, but if we try like an FM fifth harmonic or something. That's close. Yeah, super nice. A little bit of saturation, maybe? Maybe a little bit of motion on the FM, too. So it has a little bit more motion. So it feels a little bit more interesting than just before. Yeah, I think just a little bit of processing on that bass will go a long way. Reverb. I don't know if you have Valhalla, but just want to try a little bit. Same as before. Okay, and then I need to make sure we're doing the EQ thing again. I don't want to EQ I don't want to add reverb to my sub. It's just like 120. Ideally, you want to kind of tune this to like whatever your key of song is. So like using, for example, 120 instead of 105 based on your fundamental of your song. This is my sub, which is 120. I'm just gonna guess 120 though. I think that's pretty good. Put this on the wet chain. Wet. Dry. Okay, cool. So we end up with this. I think that makes it a little bit more interesting for sure. And then we'll try a sidechain on this because it doesn't have one. We'll sidechain to our house kick. I don't want it to sidechain to the groovy one. You know, basic sidechain settings. We're listening for the click of the kick. We're cutting to like negative 20-ish, and we're cutting at like a ratio of like 5-to-1 or something. Immediately, we get this. Just trying to, you know, make the bass fit better with the rest of the stuff. Kind of fit it into the song a little bit more. I think the song calls for something a little bit more atmospheric and tribal. The other note I had here, besides the sound design, was the arrangement's a bit wonky. And I mentioned in previous streams this method of using a MIDI clip to visualize your arrangement. I think that would be helpful here. Just really quick, I'm going to do this so that you can see kind of where we're sitting here. It's like a drop. See, the drop's kind of like more or less here. This just lets you see kind of how long you have everything in before you switch things up. And I think that it will help you see like, oh, this might be way too short. Because I had a feeling like this part was way too short when I heard it first relative to your drop or your breakdown length. Your drop felt like very short-lived. Yeah, like that's way too short. I would make that go for like another whole go round again, at least, maybe like 2. On the saturator. I'm gonna maybe make it soft sine instead. Might even stick the like some sort of distortion or something on the high end only on that wet channel. A little bit more interesting, I think. Maybe a little crunch on the top. But yeah, man, I encourage you to try this out. Just so you can visualize where your sections end and start, because right now it feels a little bit short in some sections and a little long in others. Like this breakdown feels long, and this drop feels very short. So, you know, we can just quickly, you know, to remedy that, we can just duplicate time, or we can like remove time or what have you. Something like that. That one's sounding good, I think, already. You just need a little bit of arrangement and a little work on some of those sounds. Like, that's a little bit toyish. I would maybe make that a little bit more interesting. This guy, you said something's wrong with it, so I'm not going to address it. But I think that could probably be a little bit more interesting, too. Maybe like some reverb or something. That's super awesome. Some like Desert Heart vibes in here. Awesome. That's Reflections by James Sully. Super cool tune. I don't know that there's too much else I would change on this guy besides the arrangement stuff. Really awesome, like Desert Hearts, like chill out progressive vibes. Really cool tune. Tiger says, I love that BOC lead sound now, the reverb, man. Yeah, I agree. I think the reverb helped it a lot. And the bass sound is a little bit more interesting too, and those two together sound really nice, especially with that crispy ARP on top. Love that. All right, next up we got, we're going to do Jeremy Cecil. Did I already download this? I think I did. Yeah, there it is. We'll do like one more after this, maybe two. Clink Tracks was a late submission, so I don't think we're gonna do that one, but we might touch the last few. It's because we're going on a roll here, or at least I'll give it a brief listen so I can give you some feedback. But like I said, guys, these are first come first serve, so if you don't have notifications on for Patreon, enable that, and you'll be able to submit to these immediately, because I generally have 10 to 20 submissions per, and we only do the first 5 or 6 because otherwise, again, the stream would be way long. We're already at 1 hour and 40, and we've only covered 4. So, all right, let's go ahead and play this guy. This is Jeremy Cecil, Astro. Mix is great so far. Hey, Portnoy's in the chat. Say hi, guys. Okay, the intro is really solid. I think the drop needs some work. One of the main things I'm hearing here that's bothering me is that 3-note ARP is so overdone for me. This guy. I think you just gotta write a more interesting melody than that. It's kind of tanking the drop, in my opinion. The rest of the writing, the progression and stuff, are amazing, but whenever I hear a 3-note arpeggio like that, it just kind of brings me back to music 101, and I think it's reducing the overall sophistication of the song. So I would work on that a bit. It says it changes here. Yeah, let's just keep listening. But that was like one note that I wanted to address as we listened here. That harp's awesome right there. That's super cool. So I was wondering why the whole song sounded muffled, and this is why. you have a low cut on your master channel at like 9K. All of your clarity and your punch and your like sparkliness on your master is at 10K and up. When you hear like a Madeon song or a Porter song or like even a Deadmau5 song, Audien or what have you, all of that like really sharp, transparent, like crystal stuff that makes their stuff sound so like radio-y is this right here. So you never ever want to cut this off, especially on your master channel. And likewise, you have a high pass at 66 hertz, which is a terrible idea because all of your sub is down here at like 20 to 50. So never do that as well. If anything, I would say boost your high end like this. I do this on every track, like, 2 decibels or something. And then maybe give it like a small bump here in the low mid. Yeah, so let's go ahead and listen to this. Yeah, you see how much clearer that sounds now? I'm loving the melodies, though. They're awesome. Unfreeze this guy. So you're doing the same thing on your mid trance layer. This is an element that really needs high end. You never want to cut that off. Just for an A/B really quick to show you what I mean. I'm going to keep this guy in the chain, and then I'm going to make adjustments to it. And then you can hear exactly the differences. So I'm going to do a high shelf, give it a boost. And then we're going to A/B these two right here. So let's go ahead and try it without. See how it sounds kind of muffled and in the background? And already, when I disable it, it has that sharpness and that transparency. See what I mean? And then for a boost, this is what it sounds like. So this is without the low pass. And with a boost, this is what it sounds like. See how it like emanates like lead energy? Yeah. So let's see how this sounds with just those adjustments, because I think that's going to make a huge difference. See how much like sharper that sounds? Could it be that their audio equipment that's interfering with their mixes? It could very well be that. Generally, a lot of the time when I see like definite problems like this, it's usually because someone using inexpensive speakers can't hear a certain thing and they're trying to compensate for it with EQ. Like that cutting of the top might just be because what they're hearing on their speakers is really sharp, because they have like really sharp tweeters, and they're trying to reduce the high end to reduce that ear fatigue. But that's the issue with mixing on low end stuff, is because you never have that perception of, how it's supposed to sound. So I think the most important thing you can buy in a setup is a good pair of either speakers or monitoring headphones, because you really have to be able to hear what you're doing. But I have a feeling it's also there's this rumor that you should always trim above 15K and then reduce your low end at like 50 hertz or whatever. And I think that's the stupidest piece of advice you can give, because all of your clarity is up here at 15, and all of your sub for like a club PA is down here at like 20. It's like an antiquated way of looking at mixing. So we're just going to do a quick mixing overhaul here. I think in general the melodic writing is awesome. Yeah, it's just the mix is really, really muffled. So we're going to correct that here. We're going to go track by track really quick and see if we can address that. So to start things off, let's go ahead and get our drums together. That's the easiest thing to fix, I think. Okay, same problem here. Let's lose this altogether. See how much punchier it is already without that? You have A, your sub at the bottom, and you have B, your clarity of high end. With the kick drum, I always like to do something along these lines. Give it a punch up here, give it a boost in the lower mid, and that's our kick. Kick sounds okay. Let's go ahead and toss in the snaps, I guess. So this guy is actually lacking a lot of high end just from the sample. We can try to boost that. It's not doing a terrible amount. I think it's just the sample is not a great selection, but it's okay. That helps a little. I'm going to remove your glue compressor from the master. And then on your other hi-hats, I'm going to see what's on here and see if we can make them better. So that's a really sharp, nice hi-hat. It's just way too quiet. I'm going to turn that up to like -5. Maybe -7, 8. This guy should not have a high pass or low pass on it. Let's give it some high crunch. And let's go ahead and give this some volume. I never want to automate my volume channel just because, or my volume on the master volume on the channel, because otherwise it makes it difficult to make a quick decision mix adjustment like that without having to deal with a utility. I always try to do my volume automation like this on a gain utility so that we can avoid that problem. But yeah, it seems like you've done that, so I'm not going to bother with it. I'm just going to turn it up here for sake of doing this quickly. Is this your clap? I guess it is. It doesn't really have any punch to it. That's your sample selection. It's because you don't have any high end. Imager's interesting. I don't think it has to be that wide. That's pretty good. I still think you could probably use a better snare sample, but we're not gonna. That's like a hi-hat. It's really not a snare. Maybe if we got like a better clap, we can make this better infinitely just by doing that. I'm just gonna really quickly commandeer your MIDI here and just add in a clap of my own. It should help. Yeah, JBL monitors are generally good. It might just be your listening environment too. Or also just like bad information that you're passing on. Yeah, that's better. And then maybe we can try a snare too. Let's go ahead and do this. This is like a lazy way of doing it, but I don't feel like messing with MIDI clips right now. Way too many EQ nodes too. Just use like 3. That already sounds much stronger. Turn this one down now with the real clap come through. Kick's also lacking some high end. Unfortunately, there's really nothing I can do about that short of replacing your kick. I'm just gonna leave it as is. Those drums are sounding good now. Yeah, more or less where I want them. The hi-hat loop should be high boosted, like that. Let's remove some low end, doesn't need that mud. And let's bring this guy up with the rest of the percussion. You need some project organization too here. It's kind of randomized. Let's go ahead and put this up here. We'll put the tom here. The hi-hats can come down like that. And we'll just go ahead and group all of these like so. Rename perk. Kick can be its own channel. Okay, so. It's pretty good. I still think the clap's too quiet. That's pretty decent. You only use it for part of the song though, which is kind of interesting. High pass boost. Nice. Okay, making the master 0, and then let's go ahead and just solo the percussion and kick together. See how it smacks much more now? Make the clap shorter here. Snare as well, it's a little bit long. Steve Duda did an incredible video about making short samples and making them smack because of how short they are. I think this is true to be said here too. Clap's a little loud still. Where's my kick? Yeah, nice. All right, and then let's fit some of the melody stuff in here. So let's put the bass in. really have any compression on it, so let's sidechain it really quick. Let's go ahead and grab our kick. Do the basic shape, something like this. And then we'll cut like, you know, -20 something out. Sidechain is essential for this genre for sure. Let's put the melody back in. Yeah, nice. And the ARP. Yeah, I seriously don't like that triplet or 3-note thing that you have going on there. I would try to do something more interesting with it. The strings, let's go ahead and just apply some new compression to the sidechain, or new system of compression to the sidechain. We're hitting the master pretty loud here, so I'm just gonna turn down the master like -4 before the limiter, so that we're not like distorting like we are right now. Add some voices here. As for this guy, I just want to, you know, high pass a little bit so we can get some crunch on him. I think this is like a pluck bass. Yeah, just need some sidechain. A little bit of EQ. Yeah, nice. A little bit of slapback delay might be cool too. Like, yeah, super cool. And this is a weird circumstance where I want to keep the sidechain before the delay, because I want it to kind of smack back, and the delay is creating like this syncopation. Super cool. I don't know. Do you have Valhalla Room? Because I think some really good reverb would help a lot on some of these elements like this. I'm just going to put it on to show you. This is the Cthulhu channel. Wherever it is, this guy, I guess. Maybe some compression after that. Something like that, yeah. And it gives it that nice like atmospheric feeling. And then let's grab this guy, I guess. This one. Yeah, super cool. And sidechain, or a little bit of compression on this guy, maybe a little bit of reverb could really help this. Julian flexing his plugins. Not really, man. All I really am using is this Valhalla Room and Serum. And I think the two mega important things for mixing is a good reverb and you know, a good EQ, and Ableton has a good built-in EQ, so mainly a reverb. Yeah, so wherever I was here, I think it was this guy. Yeah, reverb with a little bit of compression after it gives that compressed reverb feeling. It's really cool. Reverb on that main reverb there, or reverb on that main trance bass there, or the trance lead there. Compression after it. Something so special about compression after reverb in this trance genre. I love Valhalla. The only thing I miss is that it doesn't have a low cut. Yeah, that's the one problem with Valhalla Room, is it doesn't have a low cut filter, which is like really obvious to me. I don't know why they wouldn't add that, but that's why I do that dual audio rack thing. So again, I don't want to linger on this song forever, but I think, you know, you can totally hear the difference in perceived like momentum, energy, and like just overall consolidation of the track when you make these small mixing adjustments throughout. Lots of compression, lots of reverb to make things like feel more in a space instead of just like, you know, in this fake digital world. And then also just boosting the high end can create this presence and energy that you can't find if you start to remove it all like you were doing with your mixing. So if somebody told you that you should cut the high end off of everything at like 15K, which I think they did by what I've seen in this project file, totally don't do that, and just, you know, let it flow. Let the high end flow and give it a boost if anything. So that's enough for this guy. I think we worked on it a lot. We really basically redid the whole mix down. Longer than usual. I usually don't spend that long, but yeah. By the way, guys, if you ever want to get a track mixed down by me, just send me a DM. I do it. I offer it for a few $100. It's worth it. It usually makes the track much better. Just send me a DM if you want me to mix your stuff. And I can mix with your stems or with your project file. Okay, I'm gonna do one more here, I think, because we have been going for like several hours now. This is Galactic something or other. Galactic Tramp. Download. Very cool song though, man. I like this a lot. Collect all and save. Nice. Cool. I don't want to disclose my rates publicly. I usually do it on a track by track basis. Like some projects I'll charge more for depending on, you know, the complexity of the project I take on or how busy I am. But generally it's like around $400 to $500 a track. That includes mastering too, by the way. It's a mix master. For just mastering, I charge about $150. That's pretty standard. All right. What's next here? Downloaded. I did download this, right? Galactic. I guess I didn't. Try this again. Hello. Doesn't want to do it. That's interesting. Let's refresh the page. I can open it in a new tab. No? Well, this one's not downloading for some reason. It really won't download. Maybe this? Then press download? No, it won't go. I don't know what's going on with this one. If you're in the chat, let me know. And I can always just, you can send it via Dropbox or something, but we'll move on to the next one for now because for some reason it's not going. And I don't want to sit here for 5 minutes waiting for it to. Try it one more time. Yeah, it won't download. Interesting. Would you consider engineering for other artists on the side as a great source of income? It actually, it was one of my biggest parts of my income like a year or two ago. I've since kind of slowed down on it just because I'm busy with Gradient and other stuff. But usually I'm pretty active on mixing and mastering projects because I really enjoy mixing. As you can see on these streams, I get through them. It doesn't take me too long to mix a track, and I think it makes a big part of the, it helps a lot. It helps the track a lot. I'm going to try it one more time because he said it should work. Yeah, I don't know why it's not. Yeah, I'll restart my browser too. The thing that makes me most happy about Mixdown and making mixes for people, yeah, it's still not working. Let me try Safari. I like mixing because it helps me help people realize their own like vision for the song. So like a lot of the times people are unable, there it goes. People are unable to like actualize their vision and they can't like create what they hear in their head. And I just like helping people finish the songs that they want to release and make it sound like, they wanted it to sound initially. I think that's what's most special about it to me. It's kind of the same for teaching with me. I really enjoy teaching because it helps me help someone express their creative vision and their artistic, identity in a way that they didn't think they could before. So yeah, long rant. I love teaching and I love mixing just because of that. Here's the link. It's available to download to anyone. I don't know if you can post it in YouTube, but I'm downloading it. There it goes. So I had to open it in Safari for some reason. That was weird. This is the last one of the day. I tried doing Elisa's, but hers is also request access. So I don't think we're going to deal with that one yet. Okay, so this is Galactic Tramp Night Drive. We're going to check this guy out. Probably won't linger on this one for too long, but I'll give you my thoughts and a few adjustments to it. But I hope you guys learned something from this stream today. I always try to, make them informative so you guys pick up something along the way. Otherwise, every single one would just be me furiously working on tracks of yours, which, the people whose tracks I work on, they probably wouldn't mind. But I try to make these a little bit more educational for the, average viewer too. So rewatch value. All right, I don't have Omnisphere. Also, guys, if you're interested, I had a patron reach out on one of the posts the other day saying you should start a list of plugins that I have that you don't have to freeze. And I think I'm going to do that. If you guys are interested in that, let me know, because I think that would be really helpful. Okay. That way you guys can know, like, oh, I have Serum, I have Diva. You don't have to freeze it every time. Yeah. All right. Let's go ahead and give this one a play. And, yeah. Nice. That's awesome so far. Oh man, so cool, so cool. Nice. It gives me big, like, the Midnight or Oliver vibes. So cool. You have all the synthwave, like, retro wave tropes perfectly dialed in. So cool. So I think I get the gist of the track. There's a few things I would say could use some work, and that's rebalancing of the volume. Similar to the last one, the melodic writing is perfect. Like, it's perfect. You've nailed the sound design too. It's mostly just mixing stuff that I would adjust. If you need more resources on this type of stuff, I'm sure you've heard of the artist Oliver. He does like retro wave. It's a little bit more funky on the like chromio side of things, but he definitely touches on this type of music a lot, and he has great videos on Twitch. He streams on Twitch, but there's a lot of like recaps about how he does his mixing, and it would be really helpful probably for you to look at that, because he does like the synthwave stuff with like heavier hitting drums. So one of the main things I am hearing is that the drums are just kind of quiet compared to everything else. There's some rebalancing we can do really quick here. And I think it'll help the track a lot. This is what I was saying when I was saying I love mixing, because I think it can really open the eyes of the original person to like, oh, this is like my track, but it's like a different track in a way. It's like a more powerful, it's more finished sounding than I could have ever gotten it to. And that doesn't speak for my mixing ability. I think it speaks for like having a separate set of ears on your project. Sometimes even someone who's not as experienced can, give you a different perspective and help you learn a thing or two. So first thing, I'm going to turn the kick up like 5 decibels. Way too quiet right now. Oh, here's the cat. Maybe like 4. Okay, and again with the high passing, I don't think this is necessary. On your Ozone 9, let's not roll off so much of the high end. You can make this a little bit more subtle. And then you almost always want to put your limiter last in chain so that it doesn't, you aren't limiting to 0 and then pushing it over 0. Bad idea. Set your master to 0 all the time. You never want this to go down, because you want your master to be as loud as you can. All right, that already addressed a lot of the problems. Snare, toms, and hats are too quiet too. I'm just gonna turn up all of these like a few decibels. And don't be afraid to make like crazy decibel changes, because the worst that can happen is it'll sound just as unbalanced as before. The best case scenario is that it sounds better. I'm going to have to boost it here as well, just because you've automated the volume channel. I don't like doing that, again, because it takes away the ability to change it on a gut reaction. And that's really, really not good. You want to have that ability at all times. much better that sounds just with the drums louder. Turn up the hi-hats a little bit. I thought your cat was mine, meowing outside. Went to check on him twice. His name's Juno, which is appropriate to the song. Like I was saying before, we want to kind of tease that threshold. That chord pad's a little bit loud relative to everything else. I don't have that. And I don't have zebra either, so I can't make any major adjustments to this. But I will say that I think the sidechain could be a little bit stronger, to be honest. If we take the kick, just basic settings as usual, something like this. Play it with the kick now, and the snare and the other drums. Oh, I'm gonna unfreeze your snare. Similar problem on this one. Give the snare some high end, man. Never cut the bottom or the top off of a snare. That's where your transient is, man. I'm loving these drums though. Right up my alley. Let's bring that bass back in. See if we can get that sitting. I don't have the ability to remove this high pass here, which I can hear is a problem. Same for whatever you have going on this guy, but I can fake it with a little bit of saturation on your bass channel. So I'm just gonna do that. Let's try something like this. Sidechain a little bit more as well. Something like this. Again, it's basically the same sidechain every time with small variances, just because I don't want it to be too sidechain some things. And then on your pad, there's a little bit too much low end too. So I'm gonna do this. Yeah, that's sounding awesome now. Let's go ahead and introduce some of these melodies back. You are a wizard, Julian. Thank you. It's really just because this is like my home genre, like synthwave, progressive stuff. My music is really synthwave at 128. That's like, so I know how to mix this stuff really well. If you put me in like future bass or something, might not be as easy for me. So these are little floaties. I want to compress these a little bit more. We're trying to capture that 80s like sound, so there's a lot of compressed reverb in that era. So let's go ahead and just squash it a little bit. That's what creates that cool like atmosphere to the stuff. And on this guy, let's just, boost the top end and reduce some pull at the bottom. This guy's too quiet. I think you do this on 2 elements. Yeah, these guys should be a pair. Let's call these like plucks. Synthwave is totally coming back, and it's my favorite genre. Same with this guy, a little bit of compression. Boosting the top end. And like I said, man, check out Oliver's channel because he does this kind of stuff, 80s nostalgic music, but it's like modern production. It's crazy. You'd probably really like it. Yeah. Like that. Okay, this is way too wet. I don't have bittersweet, whatever that is, but I want to do this. Yeah. No cuts from the bottom here. Just boosts. Cool. And then, yeah. And then the tom sounded good. I think that's mostly it. What's this guy? Okay, this is part of the pluck group too. And try to always like group your stuff that's similar so that you can process them together. Bussing is really important. Yeah, that's mostly it. His remix of Disco Tits is fantastic. Yeah, dude. Oliver's like one of the best producers in the game. That guy's nuts. His stuff is so punchy. All right, let's check this out now. Let's pull the saturator off the master too. I don't know if you really need that. No imagery either. Bass is a little too loud now. Yeah, that's so good. A little bit of high boost helps too. One like characteristic I see a lot in newer producers is just kind of over processing. You don't need all this stuff like imagers and like exciters and all that sort of thing. It's really down to your sound design, your mix, your volume setting. That's what makes your mixes good. It's not like new plugins or new layers or new hardware. It's really just like how you use what you have. A few quality of life improvements that really don't matter to the song, but like I would suggest looking at. You have this weird, like, you have a different time signature every 2 seconds. I would just say remove them. And then maybe start the song here. That way you don't have, like, the weird time signature thing at the top. Also, like I was saying before in, like, the previous track, try to lay out your arrangement in MIDI format just at the top so you can see, like, intro, drop. I don't know. I mean, if that's right. But this would be probably more in line with, like, verses and choruses because this is more poppy. like intro. That's totally like a verse. Yeah, the snare's fine, man. So what this has allowed me to do is kind of picture where the song will go if you have like vocals or something on it, which I think it would work really well for. And I'm thinking like this could be like a pre-chorus. Like you could lose the drums here. If you hear me out for a second here, let's pull the kick. Like end of verse into like pre-chorus. Like that, and then like have a break at the end or something. And instead of going down on that bass, you just kind of keep it playing. I don't know, like something like that, and you can make this like the chorus, I guess. And I wouldn't have realized that if I didn't do this arrangement thing, so I encourage you to try it. That's like proper chorus length. Perfect. Verse 2. Thinking like a something like this. I don't know, something like that. And make that bass thing again like I did before. I think that would be really cool. Like a build up kind of bass. Hold that note instead of resolving. That way you could fit a vocal on it or like a lead melody or something in the chorus. This second chorus. Like on a song, you always have like a second chorus is always like longer by double the length, and then you have an outro. Dude, you should get a vocalist on this or sing on it on yourself. I think it would be such a cool tune. Amazing. It's like closest I've heard to like my own music, I think. Not like at a technical level, but like at a musical level. Let's call this like... Yeah. Cool. So now you can see like this is a good length. You nailed the length of the song. It's perfect. You just need some sort of like top line on the choruses or something like that to make it a little bit more interesting. But yeah, man, great tune. I think I've changed what I will to it. There's not much more I would do to this one. Love it. And I think that is about wraps up the stream. I hope you dig it. I certainly need to learn how to do arrangements. I'm still a beginner. Yeah, man. No, this is a great tune so far. I think it just needs that arrangement and a little bit of mixing help. And I think we fixed the mixing stuff. So just work on the arrangement a bit and maybe get a vocalist or top line melody or something on it. It'd be really cool. Anyway, guys, thank you guys for tuning in today. We had a lot of fun. I think 3 hours-ish of project fixing. I know it's a long watch, so thank you guys for sticking around. I hope you guys learned something in this stream. If you had your project worked on today, it'll be up for download over on Patreon very soon. And yeah, guys, I hope you enjoyed the stream. Hope you learned something. And let's go ahead and have a brief Q&A here. If you guys have any questions for me before I end the stream here, because I gotta go on my window to end it anyway. Where was I? Opening my history on a stream. How daring. Oops, that's not it. This guy. It was... where is it? I think it's this one? Yeah. Consider supporting the channel for just $5 a month on Patreon. Yeah, like he said, $5 pledges are just support. You get downloads to like projects and stuff, project files and video download stuff. $10 patrons get access to all of my music download, short of like label releases that I don't have the rights to, like Mousetrap stuff or Injuna. You get my whole discography, you get access to these streams, and you get access to the Patreon Discord chat and the Discord role in the Julian Gray Tryhards Discord, which if you aren't in, you should totally join because we have an awesome community there. If you want to learn more about any of this stuff, go to patreon.com/JulianGray. All the pledges are there, and you can check them out for yourself. Yeah, I don't see any more questions in the chat here, guys, so I think I'm going to call this one a wrap. It was good to talk to you, and I think I'll end this here. All right, I'll see you guys in the next one. See you the second Saturday of next month for the Fix Your Project stream. Make sure to look out on Patreon for that.